It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hi, people. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to this episode of rAVe TV. I'm Steph Beckett, and joining me is
Tim Albright. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So, for those of you who are watching, we do these, I would say, like about once a month, where I swap Gary out for Tim. And so, Tim and I, for those of you who don't know, our publications have actually teamed up. So rAVe has a end user facing publication, which is AV Buyers Club. AV Nation focuses a lot on end users in its productions, and we've teamed up to kind of use the power of both of our publications to help grow the AV industry through end users.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of folks who are in the AV industry that either don't know that they're in it, or it's just part of my job. Well, if it's part of your job, then you're with
Then
us.
welcome. You're in the community. Yeah. So I think that kind of harnessing both of our reach, both of our strengths, has done a lot of good so far, and I'm excited to see where else we're going to take it. But through that, we do an episode once a month that focuses on the news that a lot of our end user readerships care about. So I get right into it, I guess.
All right.
Like, what's going on in the world, Tim?
Oh, good Lord. All sorts of things, including one of the things that I've been watching, and you and I have talked about this before, is tariffs. And the issue with tariffs is that every manufacturer that I've talked to has made the comment generically, they don't care what the tariffs are. They just want them to be set, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they care what the tariffs are. Don't misunderstand what they're saying. But what is it? The uncertainty. It's the volatility. It is the inability to say, oh, this is our price now. Oh, wait, no, it's not, because this is our price now. And last Friday, the U.S. administration set out another list of new tariffs. Most likely, at least for the next 90 days, that is the set. And what that means is that if you have POs going out, if you have purchases going out in the next 90 days, you need to contact your system integrator. You need to work with your manufacturer reps, and quite frankly, get them set, right? Because once they're set, at least the vast majority of systems integrators we've talked to, you have a PO, you have a quote, it's good for X amount of days, and then that's the contract, right? And quite frankly, that's the contract for them as well, because they're going to contact the manufacturer and say, okay, now I need this product, bada boom, bada bing.
Absolutely. I think that what I have at least heard the echoes of through the industry is that people just wanted to know one way or another, because a lot of manufacturers, not all though, were trying to respond in real time. And responding in real time wasn't working because things were changing so frequently that they would respond one way, realize the tariffs weren't going that way, then try to respond again in a different way. And it was just creating a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
So I think that people just wanted an answer of what was going to happen generally one way or another, because it's affecting, like, the unknown was affecting the economy like almost even worse.
Yeah.
So
that uncertainty and that volatility also, right? Is also impacting the market as well.
So, I mean, to say that this isn't going to affect you, I think is a lie. Like, this is going to affect everyone. This is going to affect all of us in many facets of our lives. But I think it is going to especially affect AV. So people are going to potentially change prices around. Which there are a few ways that people can go about mitigating and like responding to the tariffs, right? Like, one is doing an all over the board price increase by percentage. Another, which Tim, we've seen this too, people just changing the prices of certain products, but not by a percentage, just kind of changing based on what they think. Is there any other way that we have seen manufacturers respond to this?
Well, there's a couple actually. One is when you look at the the price increases in general, they're also baking them in. And
Yeah.
one of the things that right before InfoComm, I tried to keep track of all the different ones,
Which I
and
respect. That was a brave thing you did.
I felt a little bit like Don Quixote.
Yeah.
But
Like
but
that was a very Sisyphean task.
yes, it
that
was.
you did.
But one of the things is it happened to coincide with a lot of the folks that were already increasing their prices anyway. It was a weird time, right? So it was, hey, it's an annual price increase anyway, and so they just kind of baked in a lot of those
Yeah.
already too. So I don't know. It was an interesting one.
And as for like what's going to happen next, I don't know.
Nobody
Like,
knows.
nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
I am not a market analyst. I would hate to have that job right now to like be someone who's supposed to predict what's going to happen next. Like, girl, I don't know. But I know that I'm going to keep my ear to the ground and hope to let everyone know as soon as I know what's going on. And Tim, same to you. I think that that's like
Well,
that's the best we can
it's a
do.
bit like being a weathercaster. It'll keep us employed
Yeah.
at least for the next couple years. So
100%. And we're happy for that.
yes, indeed.
So, okay, speaking of like news that's kind of like kind of speaking to like what's going on in the market right now. So D-Tools secured this $12 million investment
Yup.
that's led by John Heyman. John Heyman, for those of you who might know, he's the former CEO of Snap One.
Yeah.
So, Tim, what does this mean? What's going on?
Well, there's one big overarching thing, and D-Tools really quickly, inventory and invoicing and this, that, and the other, but it's a piece of software, right?
Yes.
And that's the point here, and that's something I'm watching. Is you and I talked with a bunch of people. I think, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the folks that we did on our tour at InfoComm were primarily software
Yeah.
companies, right? And I'm not saying that hardware is going away. Certainly, we need things to as a friend of mine says, the Gazentas and the Gazautas have to get on. Right? But there is a real significant push, not just in software only companies, but companies that are traditionally hardware are also leaning heavily into software. So that I think that's what this play is. It's a huge software play inside the industry.
Because people are seeing the value, I think, in software as a service and how that can create like this recurring revenue stream that like you don't really have to, like, it's not like a lot of it's a lot of work up front, but like the maintenance wise, like that's not a ton of work for people in our industry. So like providing that extra level of service as like this extra revenue stream, I think people are totally seeing like, hey, this could really change things for us. And I think that we're seeing that in a lot of the way that we charge things to people as well, which is like, the CapEx versus OpEx. We're seeing so much of that right now. So doing the monthly subscription vibe instead of the all upfront vibe. So I think that this is like kind of another piece of like people seeing the real value in that. So trust Tim and I will be keeping our eye on that. Because that's an interesting one. So we have a guest that we would love to bring on next. Christopher Scrow. I think am I saying your last name right, Chris?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you on. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate it. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we're excited to have you on. You're talking to us about the Crestron Masters, which Tim, you attended. So
I did.
First of all, Chris, tell us a little bit about the major takeaways for the Crestron Masters, particularly for end users.
Yeah, certainly. First of all, again, thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to talk about this. I've sort of kind of fell into Masters, right? After taking on the training team here, almost 3 years ago now. So, and I head our training and our technical documentation here at Crestron globally. Right. So this Masters, I think I was at ISE in February and found out that, hey, Chris, we would like you to maybe kind of lead Masters this year. And I know it's only a couple of months away. So it was a little intimidating, right? As is, this, right? Talking about this stuff. But,
Yeah.
it was great. It was really a fantastic turnout. I think overall, the energy was great. The team was great. The experience that I had personally with the community was really tremendous. Obviously I'm going in first time from a different perspective, but it was really fantastic having been involved in technical documentation and basically educating, end users for so long, to have that opportunity to be so close with people who really know. I mean, they know a lot more than I do. So, you talk about intimidating. But again, just for clarification, Masters is where, the best of the best, right, come. The Crestron Masters level specialists, right? And they come to really hear about our latest technology, our best practices, learn some tips and tricks, and spend time not only with our training team, but, with our technical directors, our sales support teams, our technical support teams, and our engineering team, to kind of hear what we're doing next. And I think the nice thing, the biggest takeaway for me is, from a company perspective, we're trying to create and bring new innovation, to the market. But we can't do that without this opportunity to meet with our community, the people who are using, our products and our solutions every single day. So yeah, I think overall it was fantastic. I was reading through some of the feedback. I think across the board, the event was well received. They enjoyed the content. Our modern workplace certification was a change this year. So that was really an opportunity, not for the Masters level attendees, but more for those who are trying to get past that barrier of entry, right? That, what is Crestron? What can I do with Crestron, right? What are the capabilities? How can I consider it in my next design, and really be able to give my customer a great experience. So I know that's a lot, but just overall, I think it was great. Terrific.
So, Chris, one of the things that you guys talked about in your keynote, which was really, it was a unique part of the week, because it's where you brought everybody together. You mentioned the modern work folks, which is where I was at. You had high level, you had diamond level programmers. You get everybody in the room. And you're like, this is the direction for Crestron. One of the things you talked about was the new Crestron Technical Institute portal. What has been the uptake and the reaction to that since Masters in May?
So I mean, fantastic. Like the minute we walked out of that room, that ballroom, after the keynote, I had people approaching me and very enthusiastically. Basically, we just took the existing content, aired through. What do we need? What do we not? What's the new technology? What do we need to update? And we simply reorganized the catalog to make it easier for our end users really to, dive into specific areas, right? If I want to understand, AV over IP and Crestron has DMNVX, we'll call it DMNVX. That's what it is, but we still need certifications. We have folks that are looking for certification. So we've kind of started at a very high level with 3 basic categories. And that's, rather than saying you have to go through this track, take these courses before you can go to the next, right? I wanted to offer some more flexibility. We eliminated a lot of the prerequisites. I think, all of our students, we're all professionals. We know what we need to be successful in our job. And if you feel that you understand the basics, but I still leave it there, maybe there's self-paced content for you to refer back to, but you've got a job coming up and you have to go and put some DMNVX in there, just jump in and see what you need. Let us help you get to where you need to go, but at your own pace. So the 3 basic categories now is Crestron Technology and Solutions. So those are our products and our solutions, and you can go through and, look through our basics or our software and tools. but we also have categories like DMNBX, intelligent video, and then, from the top level, you also might be focused on custom programming. You're not looking at designing systems or, providing support on those systems. So there's the category to focus on our programming courses. And recently with our P101 programming, we have offered self-paced in addition to, instructor-led. So even that, is very interesting. We were not sure how it was going to be received. Would people go through and take self-paced and just take the exam? But what we're finding is, 101 seems to be the hardest, right? That's that first hump you have to get over. So having these supplemental videos available as well to just kind of reinforce what you're doing before the exam gives you that opportunity to be successful somewhere. And then user interface design, right? That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talk about, our new tool, Crestron Construct. We are at the very moment building our training courses right now in Plano, Texas. We have a big group down there this week, from our training team to our technical directors to tech support to quality engineering and engineering, meaning to go over the curriculum that we're going to start teaching, at the end of this month. So we've already got some dates in the calendar for that. So looking forward to that. And then obviously I mentioned certifications, so we've said, okay, so now everybody knows, they're looking at the technology, but now they say, I want to see the certifications. Like, what can I get a certification in?
Yeah.
And so there's an area you just simply go. So we're trying to just kind of meet people where they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just give them what they need, to be successful. In the meantime, we're focusing on taking a lot of our existing content, moving that out to our new CTI YouTube channel, making that even more accessible to the community than ever. Now you don't have to come and to log in and create an account first. You can just go and check out some of that content if you're interested in it. And the hope is that more and more people that are interested will find the information they need, and that can start out their career. And I think that's in a nutshell, that's really what we're trying to do, right? We're educating, our community so that they can be successful. That's ultimately our goal. Right?
Yeah.
We want them to be able to get through it sooner, and be efficient and make as much money as they possibly can on those jobs. I joke internally with the tech support team that my job is to run tech support out of business, right? Now, that's a bold statement, may never come true, but I'd love to set my sights on limiting the amount of time that our community needs to call tech support to get out of a jam. And we'll do that in training.
Well, Chris, one of the last questions I have for you is, where can people find more information about this and about the modern work certification? Because I know that people can access that online now. Where can they do that?
Yeah, certainly. So Crestron.com, these are available. Anybody who registers with Crestron.com and creates an account. You don't have to be a dealer with us. You can be an end user, or you can just have an interest. If it says, are you a dealer? It's okay to say no. You can check the box no, and you'll have an account. And from there, you'll want to go into our resources and tools and go to Crestron Training. Under certifications, as I said, the new site is pretty intuitive. We do have, the modern work certification now. Now, the interesting thing about modern work is we presented it at Masters in person. We took it to InfoComm and presented it in person. And now we've taken that content and digitized it. So it's now self-paced. There are exams there. So we can give more and more people that opportunity to kind of see, what is Crestron? Particularly in the highest demand seems to be on the intelligent video side. More and more people are interested, and that technology is changing so rapidly. We really have to figure out a way to just constantly keep people informed. So that's the best way, Crestron.com. Register an account and go to the CTI portal.
Perfect. Well, Chris, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on this morning and joining us for rAVe TV.
All right.
And thank you so much, and talk soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And in that same vein, we are going to go to a quick spot from our partner, Crestron. Check out this all about the Flex Pods. And we're back. So let's, Tim, cover a few pieces of news that have kind of come across our desks in the past couple of weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
It's kind of a big time for higher ed right now.
Huge time for higher ed. Well, here's the thing. You're at the beginning of August, and depending obviously on when your classes actually begin, you have a countdown clock in your office, on your calendar, on your phone, to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe until your classes start. For whatever reason, fall was always a big thing when I was a tech manager, because I don't know, you've got 3 months, it's the start of the school year, everything else. Everything has to work perfectly in the next 2 to 3 weeks, right? So we would work nights, we would work weekends, we would work 12 and 18-hour days to do whatever it was, whether it's a refresh cycle, whether it's brand new installs. But this is a very stressful time for folks in higher education.
Yes.
And one of the things that's interesting is you've got this community, several different communities around higher education as a support system. Certainly you've got AVixa and classes and courses. You've got stuff like we just talked with Chris about with Crestron Education. You've got other manufacturer education. You also have HETMA. And HETMA kicked off the summer right after InfoComm with their road to 10,000. And that was really cool to see. It was almost like it was a flag in the sand, right? It was them planting and saying, we're going to get to 10,000 members to support this group and to support this vital part of the industry globally as they reach towards 10,000 members. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and HETMA is obviously really big for the end user community. This is literally a consortium, a group, all of end users that work in higher education. But I love that piece that Emily shared that Scott Tyner wrote for rAVe, because it's all about how HETMA is not only important to end users, but also to manufacturers, to integrators. Like, this community can be extremely beneficial to everybody. So, it kind of helps to give everyone a window into what tech managers are actually asking for in terms of support, hardware, software. It's been a fantastic resource and a window for me, as Tim and I are covering end users more and more in our daily jobs. I think it's helpful to look to HETMA and kind of have them be able to inform us on, are we getting it right? What are people actually caring about right now? So definitely check them out and check out that initiative for more information. In terms of some product news, Nanolumens, can I just say Nanolumens has been absolutely killing it right now. Nanolumens blew me away at InfoComm with 2 or 3 releases that were incredible. And now they've come out with some new all-in-ones. So this is the Captivate series. They are 3 all-in-one DVLED displays. Basically for corporate, for education, for public settings, because of course they're all in ones. They're 135-inch, 165, or 162. And there's built-in wireless sharing and compatibility with Windows, Mac, Android, all that. But I think this is kind of cool because it's allowing you to share content, present that with no additional hardware. They integrate with Teams, Zoom, WebEx, the best of the best. So, very, very impressed with everything that Nanolumens is doing right now. And if you watching have not looked at Nanolumens Find Arts, go watch the rAVe video on that, because absolutely incredible.
Well, it's first of all remarkable that they were impressing you that much at a show where we all saw all sorts of different LEDs,
Yeah.
right? So you're not wrong on that. The second part is those all-in-ones,
Mhm.
Nanolumens especially, but just the generic category of all-in-ones is really, really important in both corporate as well as higher education because of the simplicity of them.
Yeah.
Not only is it much easier and much quicker on installation, it's also much easier and quicker on maintenance.
Mhm.
The Nanolumens having built-in video processing, the ability to bring in Teams, the ability to bring in other video conferencing systems is really, really huge.
Absolutely. 100%. Next story we have, this is from AVer. AVer received a 2025 Global Company of the Year award from Frost & Sullivan for everything that it is doing in the medical grade PTZ camera market, which, as you guys know, you guys are probably familiar with AVer as well as I am. You know that AVer is in a lot of different markets where PTZ cameras are, but they've really, really created a special niche for themselves in like healthcare focused strategy. I want to say the MD330 was the first camera that they really brought into that market. They've since expanded that a little bit, and they're doing really great work. So it's nice to see that Frost & Sullivan is like taking notice.
Yeah, and medical is a whole area that I'm still learning about because
Right.
there are specifications
Right.
because of the medical part,
Mhm.
right, that I didn't even realize were necessary.
Yeah.
And the fact that AVer has been able to create that and obviously get recognized by Frost & Sullivan is pretty cute.
Yeah. Obviously, like that's like still kind of a new market to a lot of us who started out in pro AV. I think that obviously technology is needed and constantly used in the medical area, medical market, but that is like it just seems so different from like traditional AV and like not necessarily a market that we'd think of because we're just so used to being like corporate meeting rooms, education, live events. But medical is a really big one. It's growing significantly. So AVer has really done some good work.
Yep.
Well, we are going to take another quick break. So check out this spot from our partner, Shure, all about the IntelliMix room kits. And Tim and I will be right back. All right. And we're back. Tim, you wanted to talk about broadcast AV.
Broadcast.
Yes. Another market that has been around, predates AV, in fact.
Yeah.
But one that we are converging with, becoming closer with, walking hand in hand with as we have started to adopt broadcast standards in our own work. So Tim, what's going on? You're going to a broadcast show, like
I'm
the
going to
second
my
one.
second broadcast
Yeah.
show of the year. You and I hung out in Vegas at NAB this year.
Absolutely,
in
we
April.
did.
And because you cannot get enough broadcast, at least right now in Pro AV, I'm going over to IBC
Fantastic.
September the 12th through the 15th.
Okay. That's so exciting. That's in Amsterdam, right?
It's in Amsterdam. So going back to the rye, for those of us who were
Vintage.
Vintage, yes. And can I just tell you, I love Amsterdam. I missed Amsterdam. One of my favorite towns. I
Yeah.
did not miss making my schedule around the rye, because I'm doing that again.
Right.
Because the rye is a little difficult to get around.
It is. And the one time that my very first ISE was ISE 2020, already
Okay.
a very wild ISE.
Yes.
Second, it was at the very last one that was at the Rye, and I basically didn't leave rAVe's meeting room the entire time I was there, because I was hosting. We did an on-premise podcast at the time, so people would come to me to like sit and be on the podcast, and like
You had it easy then.
yeah, but if I had to go back, I wouldn't. The one time I went down to the show floor, I got lost and started crying. So
That is actually not an uncommon experience. I think I've done
right,
that at
I
least
was
once or
like,
twice.
well, I think that I can't go home.
Yes.
like I felt like one of the dogs in Homeward Bound, where I was like gonna have to make like a perilous journey back.
Did you at least have a companion?
No, I was just lost by myself. But that's neither here nor there.
It's
What are
not.
you
So,
looking
right.
forward to seeing at
Well,
IBC?
The thing about this is you reason I brought this up is not only do you have ProAV incorporating a lot of the standards, we can talk about SMPTE 2110 and other AV over IP ones, but you also have corporate and higher education folks that are putting broadcast systems into their campuses, whether that's a corporate campus or a higher education campus. So for you and I covering this for the folks, the end users, the IT managers, they need to know what's happening and the technology coming down the pipeline. The other thing is you have what I would consider traditional Pro AV companies showing at these shows. You and I talked to Shure. You and I talked to DataPath. We talked to Sennheiser. Right, the list goes on and on about the folks that are transversing these two markets. And so they are. You're right. You use the word converge, which I typically try to stay away from because of all IT AV convergence. But that's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah. But they are. Like it sounds like a stupid word, and I'll agree. I'm sick of hearing it too. But you know what? They are converging. So like it's happening. IT, AV, broadcast, AV. Who else in AV?
Well, now medical. We just talked about AVer, right?
Yeah. It's happening. So like whether you like it or you don't, like all of these industries are very slowly becoming like more and more intertwined. And I think like a lot of that is because we are looking to other industries that have either like are growing significantly like IT, or have had a like outlasted AV in a way, like because broadcast was a thing before we were. And so we're kind of like taking notes from these other industries and kind of walking with them, especially when it comes to adopting their standards, because standards in AV, come on.
Well, and you are, speaking of standards, you are going to go talk about sustainability standards.
Oh, yes, I am. So, okay, we can talk about this really quick. I'll share my screen. SAVE 2025 is coming up in September. It is September 24th and 25th. So Tim is going to IBC. I am going to SAVE. And this is in LA. It's at UCLA's Luskin Conference Center. And this is actually a very, very exciting conference. I went last year. It was the first one. This is going to be the second one. But basically, it is about like a day and a half, I would say, of content. Crestron is a big supporter of this. Shure is a big supporter of this. A ton of AV brands are very, very involved in this because it is such an important thing. Kind of building the sustainability standards that already exist for the world and baking them into AV and how we can become a more sustainable industry, because tech waste is no joke. So this is the schedule a little bit. I am moderating a panel. Dan Farisi is also moderating a panel. He'll be there as well. So it's going to be a great time. You can do a workshop to get SAVe certified. So if you want to find out a little bit more about SAVe, the organization, how you can become a part of it, an ambassador or a sponsor, or just attend the conference, go to saveav.org, and that will give you all the information. And I hope to see you there in LA.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then you guys have another symposium 1 week from today.
Absolutely, we do. So that is our rAVe Symposium, August 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be about 2.5 hours, and it's approved for 2.5 CTS, CTSI, or CTSD RUs. So if you need to get your RUs in, this is a perfect afternoon in which you can do that. It's going to be 4 sessions, and we are very excited about all of them. One is going to be kind of about the relationship between integrators and distributors. We're going to be kind of digging into that. We're digging into AI in the meeting room because, we can't ignore it. We got to talk about it. We're going to be digging into USB-C, and we're going to kind of be talking about what's going on in the digital signage market right now. And we have 3 fantastic partners who have kind of helped us put this on: ADI, SNA Displays, and Lightwear. So definitely come and check this out. It's going to be, of course, I said we have partners, but this is all completely educational. And we are very excited to put this on for you guys. So we hope to see you there.
One of the things about AI in the meeting room, and you guys use Zoom a lot. We use at AVNation and CTI, we use Teams. We're a big Teams house. And I logged on the other day, and I got this little note, said, hey, you can register your voice and your face so where it will recognize you when you're in the meeting room. And so the voice ping was fine. I clicked a button and it recorded my voice and whatever.
Right.
And it's not the first time I've had my voice recorded, so whatever.
Yeah.
But the face was very reminiscent, if you are an iPhone user, very reminiscent of having your face when you do a facial lock, right, on your iPhone.
Yeah.
So you did the front,
Yeah.
and then you did the side, and then you did the side to the corner, and this, that, and the other. And so now in some of our meetings, our standing meetings, number one, it's automatically recorded now. And then secondly, it can say, oh, even if I'm in a conference room, so I'm not logged in as Tim Albright, I'm logged in from one of our meeting rooms, it can register and say, oh, Tim is talking now because I hear his voice and I can recognize his face. 100% like another level of AI in meetings. Really interesting.
I can't decide if I hate that or not.
I don't know yet. I'll let you. Like I said, it just happened Monday, so I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know. Hey, for now, I think.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk about this in the panel. So everybody come August 13th. We're going to talk about AI, helpful or hurtful. Where does it end? Where do we just say that this is not AI anymore? How are we using it? How is it becoming a little bit too clunky? We're going to be digging into all of this. So everybody come, go sign up, lavnch.com.
There you go.
Tim, thank you very much for joining me this morning. It has been a pleasure.
Anytime.
All right. Well, everybody who is watching, thank you so much. And we will see you again next week. This has been another episode of rAVe TV. I'm Steph Beckett.
I'm Tim Albright.
Bye.
Bye.
It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph